is Meet Up Speak Up. So keep watching, keep listening, hit that like button, and subscribe.
My business. Now I'm reconstructing the business inside as well as outside. But the reason why I'm making this video today is because I wanted to kind of recant the video I made last night. I was in a frustrating mode. Everything that I said in my video is true. But I was in a frustrating mode where I thought that Kamala Harris had a chance. They really convinced me that Kamala Harris had a chance. Now, when this first started off, and President had stepped down for the next 4 years, I was like, oh no, don't let this happen. But when it happened, and they quote unquote reasons why was because he was too old. I said that's bull crap. You know what? You're gonna get old to a point where you're 70, and then they say you're too old to run for office, or you're too old to work in this. That's, to me, that was discrimination. It was discrimination towards the president. Okay, and you start out with a discriminating ethic or ethic towards your own president. Okay, so just take that in. Okay, um, when he stepped down, he acknowledged Kamala and put his support towards Kamala, and that is all it took for me to back Miss Kamala Harris, Vice President. Biden was a backbone to this economy when Barack Obama, the 44th president, was the president. Okay? The president of the 44th created and saved the state of Michigan. If you don't want to believe that, I can't make you believe that. But I'm here in Michigan and I know what took place. Okay, I'm not sitting online trying to perpetrate that. Oh, everything was good. Everything was, that's for perpetrators. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like everything in Michigan is going well. That brings me to one point. Okay, the point of Michigan egotistical, sexist mentality. And I understand it's 2024. But people must understand, just because the years pass by doesn't mean people's minds are changed. Now, I'm going to go pivot a little back when we had a governor election. Now, when we had the first governor election, and I believe that was in 2016 or 18. I'm not precise because I haven't looked it up. But I know when our governor ran first term for office for the state of Michigan. It was a young gentleman, and he was Jewish, and he was running against um, Whitmer, the governor Whitmer. And I tried to tell him that he would never get in because he's Jewish. He took offense at me, and he took offense at what I was saying. And I was trying to tell him exactly what I was trying to tell the Democrats at this election. That although the year have changed in Michigan, the mentality haven't. I work, talk, socialize with people of different nationalities every day. I don't stay in my community and just socialize with people of color. I don't stay in my facility or environment and just socialize with black people. I socialize with all nationality, including Caucasian people. Okay, and I hear their thoughts. I hear their voices and I hear their words. We're not out of prejudice. We're not out of bias. We're not out of sexist. We're not out of male egotistical superior. Okay? Let me just say it like that. Most of the Caucasian males feel superior. And they feel like that because they've been given that privilege for so long. Black men feel that they're superior to black women. And they have been put in that category for so long is the reason why most women accept men as being superior. Now, we can sit here and go back and forth each and every day about racism. But racism is in all of the groups, all of the nationalities, from Latinos to Japanese to Indians to black people to white people, but they don't want to say it. They don't want to say it. They all are the same. If you have a problem with someone or with a department or with a system and you're asking for help, you basically, as a woman, and I'm speaking as a woman, 100% woman, born a female. I'm not a transgender. I'm not a person who pretends to be a woman. I don't care what you do, but I'm just describing what I am. And I'm 100% woman. I have came up against males that felt that I should bow down to them and not speak as clearly as I'm speaking to you on issues when it comes to the systems, when it comes to the departments, when it comes to having complaints against another man. They will basically huddle together, we're talking about the males, huddle together to come against women. If women speak against horrible leaders, which would be most of the majority males. So when you're speaking against a male, as a female, you will see the males, regardless if they're white, black, Latino, whatever color they is, they will huddle together to protect each other. Or they won't say anything at all. The ones who will say something is basically having their own complaints. And that's the only reason they're saying anything against their own male partner. Is because they have their own complaints about that male partner. And I understand that a lot of people think that we all should just get along. Well, it takes people to get along with people. One part that plays a major and crucial social society in the city of Detroit is self-preservation. Everybody wants self-preservation. And this is what we seen in this election. This election was about self-preservation. You have people basically, like I said in my video last night, stating that they want massive deportation. And these are individuals that had the same nationality that the individuals that are standing at the border. You have Latinos saying that they want massive deportation for the Latinos that's at illegal Latinos at the border. I couldn't understand why. And they come up with all these excuses, but the main reason is self-preservation. They don't want their own kind to come in and be successful as them. They want to stay that uniqueness. But that's not how the world works. And I know that sometimes I get irritated and then I start talking and I will use my frustrations to basically show my you know, disappointments. But that's a part of life. If you sit here like a robot and just analyze things without any emotions, without nothing to say about why it made you upset, then that's somebody that's fake. It's not nobody that's real. Anywhere you go, if you are having a conversation, regardless of the person is trying to be more formal or more unconspicuous, unknown about what their feelings and reactions are, you read their body structure. Now, I don't know if everybody do that, but I do. So you can sit here like a robot every day, but I read your body structure. I read how you cuddle yourself, how you rub your legs, how you tensely move. Okay? So what I'm basically saying at this point, that this election was about self-preservation. It's nothing that I heard from the people that would change my mind to say, Kamala Harris didn't or wasn't successful. She was. It was about self-preservation. Even with the canvassing, you have people basically saying, if I don't get paid, I ain't doing it. If I don't get paid, I ain't doing it. Now, let me just explain a little bit here. When I express myself of talking about different other entities, people, I'm going to make voices. I am going to talk the way they illustrated it to me. So that's when you hear me say, in a different phrase, I'm basically trying to mimic them. Okay? So I don't want people to say, well, she's, doing this hand gestures and these voices and it sounds like she's, just talking. No, I'm emulating them, or how they said it, and I express myself on my hands. So at this point, I believe the election failed because of self-preservation. That's the topic here I'm talking about today. You had people who did not want to really participate unless they got paid, number one. You had individuals that did really truly didn't want to listen to factual information. That's two. And then you had individuals who was basically fighting each other. You had industries or groups, we would say, organization, that didn't want to come together. City of Detroit has probably about 30, if that's what I'm counting up to, it probably is more, about 30 organizations. 30 organizations that could have came up with a podcast, that could have gotten together and basically talked to the voters throughout different communities. You had separation. Everybody was trying to make their own organization, seeming like it was all that. You had Detroit Action putting out commercials, but not talking to the people. Talking to only the people who they felt that came to their organization. You had SEIU putting out commercials, but only talking to the people who came to their organization. And many more. So back in the day when I started this canvassing with the organizations of the Democratic Party, it was different. The organizations came together. They spoke together. And if people didn't have that information, they informed you and gave you that information so you can give to the people. That's what I was built on. Not separation. You had so many organizations that were separated. And I thought, pivoting back to the unions, I thought that it was going to be a little better because we have the UAW saying unify, unified. And then you have major contracts being won. And I was like, oh, finally, they're getting together again. But then, after the UAW ended the strike and ended the unity on the ground, you had everybody just go their each in different ways. They never stayed together. And then you had SEI saying this. I be online and I make a comment and they get frustrated. Oh, that person, we met with this representative. And I'm like, I'm not saying you didn't meet with a representative. I'm just saying, why didn't you do a video on meeting with that representative to tell the people what that representative said? That's all I'm saying. But they got angry. Oh, we met with this one. Oh, Mr. Jacqueline, you don't know what you're talking about. These are people that's supposed to be of a union and together. And I'm like, let me not say anything else. Because if you get angry just because I said, well, why you didn't do a video, then therefore that means that something is not right. That means something is not right. You're throwing up pictures to make yourself look good, but when the person asks you, why do you do this, you get angry. That means that that picture, truthfully, was staged. That means I was with someone, I seen the candidate, representative, and I stooshed up against him and took a picture. See, I'm not like that. I don't take pictures ooh, can I get a picture? No. I'm not like that. Okay? And I understand that a lot of people don't like my personality because I'm not like that. You know, when I first met Brenda Lawrence, black representative of the Democratic Party, which is retired now. When I first met her, you know, I really didn't like her conversation because she was very persuasive when it came to conversation. But when it came to action of doing the things that she was saying she was going to do, that never happened. But her conversation, her speeches was very persuasive. Okay? So at one event, you know, I didn't want to take a picture with her. She invited me to take a picture with her. And I was like, okay, I'll take a picture. But I don't go up to representatives because, first of all, you represent me. I'm paying you out of my income. You represent me. I don't look at you as a pedestal. And I know a lot of people get angry when they hear that. I'm sorry. My personality and mentality do not see representatives as pedestals, as people that's above and superior other than me. I don't see no one that way. And maybe that's wrong for me because people look at it like, oh, how can she say that about that person? Because when they say that and you hear that, it's because they feel that person is superior. That's why they say that. You hear a lot of people, that's just vulgar. That's it. You basically saying the facts that this person is putting up this person is trashy, this person, that's terrible. You shouldn't say that. That you shouldn't say that about that person. You shouldn't say. Wait a minute, hold on. So it's all right for you to tell me not to say something about a person, but it's not okay for me to say my opinion. Am I getting this right? So you have to really listen to people when it comes down to them giving an opinion about what you are saying. Back to the election. The election was reckless. It was not fit, and I understand it was a short term. They had to put together within less than 100 days. But if you put together that many celebrities for the national people, you should have been able to put together small portions, just exactly like you did with the governor, small portions of intermittent um, local districts, union hall, or union social gatherings to talk to the local people. And I understand that it was not the incumbent nominee endorsed President Kamala Harris because she don't make those decisions. The campaign does. The campaign should have done the same thing they done with the governor in the state of Michigan. We had, like I repeated on my video last night, we had Kerry Washington come and explain to the majority of suburbans the reason why they should keep a good governor. And this is the thing I can't understand. You have U.S. Senate that barely made it. I'm glad she did. Lissa. I voted for her. I was trying to make sure that people knew who she was. I talked to the people in the community to make sure that what they knew about U.S. politics, that how she helps us, how a good experienced politician in the U.S. Congress helps us as a Senate. So I'm glad she won. She barely won, but I'm glad she won. We had the U.S. Congress, District Congress, and I'm glad he won, and that's Shree. I'm glad he won because he's trying his hardest. The only reason I come out about local officials, about what they're not doing in the community, because the community has been sitting so long. It is not because I'm coming after these people. In a political democracy, you state what is wrong in your community, who are accountable for it. Now, we might get a little twisted because people now in the city of Detroit has changed hands so much, and it's so many committees that you don't know who's actually doing the job. Is the elected officials doing the job, or should we just take away the elected officials in the city of Detroit and use committees? I mean, this is what it looks like it should occur, because you have the local officials not basically doing anything. You have more of the committees doing the work than the elected officials. So I, will put a question out there. Shall we continue with local elected officials when the committees are doing all the work? Why not just get rid of the elected officials and boost the committees? But I know we're not going to do that because we have to have a check and balance. I understand that. But if you keep saying that this elected officials is responsible, and then when you're trying to get in touch with the elected officials, they tell you, oh, you got to talk to this person, this committee, and that committee, then what's the purpose? That's just my opinion. But back to the international president election. It was short done, but it was not properly done. It was reckless. The video, like I said, they put out about women's rights, to vote for the opposite candidate when they have a husband that is the opposite candidate. That was wrong. That was the most horrible. That was the one point, and I'm going to tell you right now, that was the one point that probably got so many women non-votes, you could say. Women who was intending on voting for Kamala Harris, but couldn't do it. Because like I said, you had husbands, and I was really frustrated last night when I said it, because I never had seen a man basically stand over his wife to make sure that she's like a child. you going to make sure that that female vote as you. And it kind of surprised me because I thought we had moved on too. I mean, it's 2024. I was raised looking at women be dominated by men. And I chose and told myself as I was growing up that I would never, ever let a man dominate me. He has his own personality. I have my own personality. We can come together on issues, but you will not dominate me on what I should and should not do. So when I seen that at the polls, it kind of flushed me. It built the boiling point in me. It was like, oh my God, are we still back in the 50s or something? So that's what frustration came out on top of that video when it came down to a man standing over a woman like they're a child, telling them who to vote for. And the video caused that because you had podcasters that took that video and ran with it. Republican mega podcasters. And they ran with it. That was the, even though you had comedians calling Mexico garbage, the people chose to listen to videos that hindered women from voting for who they wanted to vote for. So what did that tell you? If I'm more interested not in people calling my country or my city or my state garbage, but I'm more interested in who that woman is voting for. You got to look at the mentality. If that's still going on and it's 2024, so you know you can roll it back to abuse mentally and physically. So therefore you have another problem in the country. Not just racist, not just prejudice, not just sexist, not just superior egotistical men. You have abuse problem mentally and physically with everyday working women or everyday nurturing women who stay at home and take care of kids. So we know we have problems. So if we have problems that set in the marriage, the problems that we're talking about is beyond a lot of things that's going on in today's world. I mean, you have individuals who feel that their vote don't count. You have young people believing that black people are against them. We're talking about young nationalities of different races. You can see the pull and tug everywhere. I understand that people sometimes get in their own self-preservation and want things to come rapid, to be right there and here. But that's not going to happen in a systematic system. When the incumbent president, Ms. Harris, was talking about Medicare for all elderly and disability people, I had a lot of people online saying, well, she should have said health care for all. And I'm like, what? She was saying health care for all. But you have so many people now is stuck in time, and people who want to just be that I know it all. And then you have, I call them nitpickers. And they will look at it or listen to a conversation, and instead of listening to the actual conversation, they'll be selective and they'll only listen to what they want to hear. anytime a program, let me piggyback on this. Anytime a program is starting, you don't always start with everyone. You start with certain people that you know that program can be passed through. Elderly, disabled, for all. So when you start that program, and that program is started for the elderly and the disabled, it can be expanded as time goes on. If it works out for the elderly, it works out for the disability, which we know it will, because that is the individuals that's covered now by Medicare and Medicaid. So when she said for all, it is not just individuals that's elderly or individuals that's with chronic disabled or disabilities. All means if your son is ADHD, or if your son is bipolar, or if your daughter is schizophrenic, that's disability. So so the people really didn't get the message that Kamala Harris was trying to enhance. That was Medicare for all, but you have to start somewhere. You can't just start by saying we want Medicaid for all, we want this to work, we want that, blah, 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 blah. You have to start somewhere. Starting with the elderly that we already have and the disability, chronic disability that we already have, will open up the Medicare for all. Because now we want to put in more clauses where it helps individuals with ADHD, bipolar, schizophrenic. It accelerates as you create the program. And I don't think people understood that. When it comes to $50,000 giving you for a startup business. Okay, if you start one business up and get that $50,000 in plus other loans that through the business administration, if you have a good business administration association, but when you start another business, here's another $50,000. You know, and I don't think the people really put everything in line to understand what the president or the incumbent, not incumbent, I'm sorry, the nominee president was saying. 25,000 for a house, to buy a house or to invest in buying or helping you out buy a house. And people don't understand. You know how much closing fees is. If you're looking at, oh, I want this $300,000 house, which the closing fee is probably about $40,000. Closing fee is after you finish doing all the paperwork, you have approved your credit, and now all the things that accumulate of your down payment for the house, which is your interest and principal. And then you have to put in all the other stuff, taxes, the commissions for your broker, all of that combines into a closing fee. Even a closing fee for a $60,000 house is probably about $5,000 to $7,000. So you're talking about $25,000 to close on a house. Your credit gets you a $70,000 house. You have $25,000 to close on that house. That house may be $10,000 to close. You have another additional $15,000 to invest in the house. I don't understand. And I think it was basically because people didn't understand. Voters, young voters, voters of different nationality did not understand because they probably have never been through it. And maybe it would have helped if we had groups that work together and put out factual information of how these um, fundings would work. If she's saying $25,000 to get you started for a house, to buy a house, to make sure that you get a home, then someone should have backed up, just like they did the governor. Somebody should have backed it up. Whereas this is how this works. If you get a $70,000 home, you have to do the closing fee. You're approved. Now you have the closing fee. You have your job for credibility. You have other resources for creditability. You have been proved by your credit. Your closing fee will be $10,000. According with your principal and interest, all the taxes, commissions for your broker, all the little other things that's combined in that closing fee. Hey, $70,000 house, you got a $8,000 closing fee. You got $25,000 from the government. Take that $8,000, do the closing fee. Now you have an additional what? 17,000 $17,000 to improve your home. If you want to build on, if you want to buy furniture, if you want to increase the building, if you want to expand, you have $17,000 left to do that. I really think the people didn't understand what they was voting for or against. With the $6,000 for someone to have for their baby, first time mothers, first time parents. And I heard or read people online comments and they're, oh, it's only for 1 year. Only for what? Wait a minute, hold it. It's every time you have a baby. First time parents, every time they have a baby, first time parents. Okay? I can understand people say, well, it's only with the first baby. She said first time parents. Okay. But do you have $6,000 during the first time you had a baby? I wish I'd have had that $6,000 during the first time I had a baby. So I think a lot of people took things for granted. I think they listened. They really liked it. But they was like, oh, this will never happen. But here's a clue. Trump is doing the same thing with the Republicans. Like I said on the video last night, I did not know Trump was investing in the military. I did not know he was investing in local communities, improving the airports, improving the surroundings. When you improve the surroundings of the airport, people live around the airport, including the communities. That's what that meant. So he's improving the Republican side. That, you know what? Bring this to a point. This is why Trump threw out that information that the the Democrats was helping only the Democrats. Read in between Trump's information. He always tell on himself. That's the reason he said when the FEMA and the destruction of different tornadoes occurred, and he was going by saying that Biden never came to the mayor and talked to the mayor of the last storm or hurricane that occurred, and he said Biden is just helping the Democrats, is not helping the Republicans. Well, this is what Trump is doing. See, Trump telling himself every single time. All you have to do is listen to Trump. Sit back and just listen to Trump. He's telling himself all the time. Trump has invested in the military in different states, which is like I said last night, Ohio, Florida, Pennsylvania, but he didn't just invest in the states. He invested in the districts, the community, the airports, the surrounding of the airports, the communities that sit in the surroundings or premier of the airport. So he just called in his bets. I already know. I'm not going to say we because when I say we, I'm including the uh, organizations that I belong to, the organization I'm representing, the people that I'm representing in a local community as a neighborhood block club. So when I say we, that's what I mean. So I'm just going to say I at this point in time. I know why the Republicans want to continue to vote for Trump because Trump will give them, but that don't necessarily mean he's going to give everybody. And he hasn't, because the last 4 years that Trump was in office, from me finding out from this book how much money he gave his Republican constituents, which is the voters, in their community, local community, as well as their state, let me understood why the Republicans are really right there for him. Now, we got to switch it over to us as people of color and different nationalities and ask, if you wasn't in them communities, did you receive the money from Trump? And we obvious, most of the people that's in Michigan, obvious was not in those communities. Those communities consist of Michigan too. I'm going to let you know. But it's the suburban of those communities that receive money from Trump during the Trump administration. And this is why they keep saying, oh, Trump did a lot for us, a lot for us. They're saying us because they see us as suburban, as middle class. They don't see us as urban cities. So the us they're talking about, excuse me, the us they're talking about is the suburbans. So he did do for the suburbans. He did do for certain counties, basically suburban counties in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Florida. But he did not do for the urban, which is the cities of black and brown people. And that's the difference between what they're saying and what we're seeing, and what we're saying and what we're seeing. That is the difference. And a lot of people don't express that. Trump was a good person to his constituents. And that's the reason why he accused the president of being more concerning about his constituents. So if you read through the lines when Trump is talking, believe me, he tells on himself every single time. But back to the election, and I'm not going to be too long because I know how people don't like to sit and listen to long conversations. But that is what the nominee, President Kamala Harris, was trying to convey to you. She was trying to convey that this is what I'm going to do for the people of color. We already know Trump didn't already taken care of his constituents or the Republican constituents. So what she was trying to do is take care of the urban constituents, which has never been done. And this is the reason why you probably had so many individuals not believing in the things that she was saying. Conveying financial material and money to people who have never received it will go in one ear and come out the other unless you back it up with facts. And if she had a program, or if not she, but the organization had backed it up with a program, is this is how this will work. You would take this $50,000 and you will make sure that your business license is together. You will make sure that you are putting out, you know, material to bring more business, or creating websites, or however you're going to promote your business to bring more business to your business. You will be able to reconstruct your business in a way that you don't have to worry about the taxes on your business. You don't have to worry about things that necessarily need to be functional in a community, like computers. You need computers for your business because you have to look up everything online nowadays. Most of the places is mobile. It's other things that you have to do to a business to make sure it's functionable. And that's what the $50,000 would have did. With the $25,000 closing costs, if you go out and you financially credited and your credit's approval for a $70,000 to $100,000 house, well, you got a closing fee. After they do the principal and the interest, and then you commission for your broker who received the house for you, who got the house for you, then other fees all those fees, closing fee, and your commissioners is 3% of whatever your house is. Okay? So you're talking about if you buy a $70,000 house, you're gonna pay $6,000, $7,000 to your broker for their commission, or probably more than that, for their commission. So you got to add that up, and then you got to add up the taxes and your interest, and your principal and interest, and then all the little who know what miscellaneous to combine a closing fee. When that closing fee comes, it may be $10,000. Well, you don't have to worry about that because they're just giving you $25,000 to invest in your home. That includes the closing fee. So you can take that $10,000 and pay off the closing fee. And voila, you got $15,000 more to invest in your home, to improve your home, to expand your home if you want. I don't think people understood that because they didn't have a well communicated organization for the highest office in the land, for the first woman of color to go to the highest office in the land. So it's a lot of mistakes was done, and it was reckless. It was with the sending out lists, letting people go out to the community. I mean, you're talking about Detroit, Michigan. Now, if it was in the suburbs, which they won't probably do that because of the simple fact they thrive on getting their candidate in office. But you have to look at the statistics of people economy or household. You had 4 people from the organization to come, and they see the signs up because I posted the signs that I'm who I'm for as this business owner, and you had 7, 8 people come and ask for people who did not even live here. I'm like, nope, you got the wrong address. So you had misinformation on that because I understand that they did Biden, you had to take a lot amount of time to put together his campaign. Why didn't you use the same strategies that you used with Biden? Although people were saying, they put the campaign together in a short time. No. They didn't put the campaign together in a short time. Because of the simple fact, they had already done Biden and Harris campaign. I mean, you got to think about that. If you already done Biden Harris campaign and Harris was the vice president, it is not a new factor here. She still stands on the platform that she ran as a vice president. It's just now she's running as a president, giving you new and better in her plans, not Biden plans. That's all. That's the only thing that transitioned was the plans. Because you would do the same strategy that you ran with Biden and Harris. But you would make sure, the only thing you really had to do is make sure her plans was put to the people, to make sure they understood the factual information about these plans. That's the only thing really changed in that campaign. Is when Kamala Harris said, these are my plans. These are what I am going to do. That's the only thing they should have been working on, is her plans. Her popularity, yeah, you put it out there. They kept coming up, we don't know who she is. Well, you going to tell me you don't know who your vice president is of the United States of America? And people may not. But the stream is good. It's okay. But the whole point is, the whole effect should have been on the plans. Everything promoted should have been about those plans. The $50,000, like they was doing commercials on the Project 2025, they should have been doing the program or project on the $50,000 given to entrepreneurs. Not just wording. People hear the word, go to one ear, come out the other, because they're going to come up with their own conclusion. You should have been creating podcasts, animated, just like you was doing on Project 2025. Half of the people don't even believe that the Project 2025 is going to happen. This is what I'm hearing. No, he was just talking. He ain't going to do the even though it's in a binding menu shown to the public. The Republicans is like, oh no, he's not going to do it. And they're correct. Because he's not going to do the Project 2025 on his constituents. That's why they're saying, oh no, that's just him talking. He's not going to do, because he's not going to do it on his constituents. He's going to do it on the other nationalities. So I understand why they don't believe Project 2025 exists. When it's already been put out there in the menu, all been shown, everything that's been said. No, they ain't going to believe it, because that's his constituents. It's Republican and Democrat. Republican is with Trump. Democrat is with Biden and with the nominee, President Kamala Harris. So when they say they don't believe it, it's not real to them. Because it's not going to happen to them. It's going to happen to the Democratic people of color. So if people of color got scared, oh God, let me vote for him. Maybe he won't do it to me because I'm part of his party. So he can't use Project 2025 on me. And that's how some people think. If I join him, he won't use that project on me. Last night, they did an interview. Sorry, it's not laughable, but they did an interview of a Japanese gentleman who was a Republican, voted for Trump. Oh, he said he wanted to see Trump. He wanted to talk to Trump. He went to Trump estate and tried to get in, tried to talk to Trump. Now, he'd been locked up like 3 times coming to Trump's Margot estate. Now he's doing time because he got out of those 3 situations, being incarcerated, and still got into a Uber and went to Trump's estate and still got arrested. Because he said, I'm going to try to tell Trump who tried to assassinate him. Okay, Trump don't want to hear it. They'll take the information in under incarceration and they'll pass it on. But that right there should have told some of the people, but they ain't going to listen. Oh, he's just crazy, man. He's not like us. This is a normal citizen voting for Trump, want to talk to his president. And they are saying, well, nope, you can't talk to his president. You can't come on his property. And you can kind of look at why different nationalities voted for Trump. They voted for Trump thinking, well, if I vote for him, if I stay with him, I'll be with him, he won't do anything to me. And a lot of people look at, oh, no, ain't nobody think like that. Yes, they do. People think like that. And that's what you see, majority. That's what you received in this voting. He won't do me like that if I join him. And that was the Latinos, the Chinese, the Palestinians, and every other nationality that joined that vote is precisely saying to themselves, if I join him, I vote for him, he will not. Because what was their platform? If you on our team, you for us, you for Trump, we're not going to do nothing to you. So that's why you had so many people voting for Trump. One of the reasons. And another reason is that he's investing in his constituents. But it wasn't clear with the Kamala Harris organization how the money was going to be invested, what you can do with the money, how you can use the money, what structures that is used to give you the money. So a lot of people took it in as they just saying something to get voted in. You have to be very cautious with individuals when it comes to the thinking they know political politics. And putting people who took a class or two into politics thinking that just because that person is in a certain area that person cannot talk professional, formal, or with different nationalities or a Caucasian, it's assuming that person is illiterate when it comes to the political arena. When you have your best knowledge sitting right in your communities. And that's what Trump and his MAGAs are using. We can all say and sit back and say, oh, I can't stand them MAGAs. They always talk, but they talk on point. They bring it to the people, what the people heard, and then they analyze it in their own form. That's how they get the word out to their constituents. But you try to do that in the Democratic Party, you have people, I had a person, and I'm saying, I'm a delegate. I had a black person come on a website, and I believe it was Roland Martin, and say, no, she's not. She's not a... Well, search my history. Search my history. See, I've been lied on before. I've been lied on about things that was in my past. I've been called crazy. I've been called a drug addict. I've been called a drink, intoxication. All I say to people, check out my past. Go through my medical history. Check out my information. If you only see one thing and it has been disputed, because that's what I do. I'm not going to let you lie on me and get away with it. I'm going to come after you constantly. I don't care if it's 6 years down the line, 10 years down the line. I'm going to continue to come after you because it was a lie. So you can easily tell when an individual is being lied on. Check the history. That's all you have to do. Check the history for narcotics, intoxication, any place, every place. Check the history for mental illness. Check the history for work abilities, conversation abilities. Just because I don't publicly speak everywhere doesn't mean that I don't speak. I just don't do it publicly. So you have to understand people mentality and how people look at people. People would throw information out there and just tell that you is this type of person, that type of person. They don't even know you. Say, who is that person? Did you know they did this? They don't know it. But they'll make sure that you have a bad reputation because they'll throw out information that people think that, oh, well, wait a minute now. That sounds good. Because it sounds good to them. They want to hear that bad news against that person. But it don't always have to be true. When people are in disputes, they're not going to just sit there and continuously disputing stuff or disputing accusations just because. You're disputing accusations for a purpose, to basically try to get the people to understand it's a lie. It's not true. But then you have people, oh, you just mad because you got caught. Those type of people, you just have to throw your hand up and say, you know what? Thank you for your conversation. And move on. Because regardless of what you do, that person always going to envy and going to look for things to make bad things to make you look bad. So I'm just doing a brief. Thank you for the time and listening. Thank you for listening. I will continue to do videos. I may put a little here and there in it, but it's always going to be raw footage. My name is Jacqueline Sprouse.